The death of Food Network star Anne Burrell stunned not only her fans, but also her peers. Here's what they had to say, what she taught us about cooking, and some ways to remember an always memorable chef. The culinary world was shocked to hear the news that Anne Burrell was found unresponsive in her New York home on June 17th. She was pronounced dead shortly thereafter at the age of just 55, with no cause of death reported as of the making of this video. According to a statement released by the chef's family, Anne was a beloved wife, sister, daughter, stepmother, and friend. Though she is no longer with us, her warmth, spirit, and boundless love remain eternal. Burrell made her first Food Network appearance in 2005 and went on to take part in many of the cable outlets' shows, including Iron Chef America and Chopped All-Stars, which she won in 2015. Burrell also hosted Worst Cooks in America for an impressive 27 seasons, exhibiting a genuine passion for helping people hone their cooking skills.
Like every single season, I think I'm prepared for it, and I'm shocked by what these people do for food.
Her eye-catching platinum blonde hair, often styled into spiky do's, certainly turned heads, but Burrell's fellow chefs emphasized her captivating personality while mourning her loss. Robert Irvine, Burrell's co-host on several seasons of Worst Cooks in America, posted on X. Anne wasn't just a fiery chef, she was a radiant spirit who lit up every room she entered. Outside of Worst Cooks, I came to know her as a generous and supportive colleague and an even better friend. The host of Simply Ming Tsai, shared a picture of himself with Burrell on Facebook. He captioned it, "Here you are being your wonderful self, entertaining and giving back at Cooking Love Boston. This makes no sense, you are gone, way too young. One of us gone. May you rest in peace, Anne. Condolences to your entire family." In Burrell's final post on Instagram, the larger-than-life chef shared a picture of herself and New York celebrity, the Green Lady of Brooklyn. She also included hashtags that she loved what she did and was a lucky girl. The post perfectly exemplifies Burrell's joyful life philosophy. Burrell's approach to life is further illustrated in a statement from Food Network on Instagram, remarking on her passing. It states, "Anne was a remarkable person and culinary talent, teaching, competing, and always sharing the importance of food in her life and the joy that a delicious meal can bring." Burrell's culinary career began at Daniel Webster's, a restaurant in Syracuse, New York. Burrell also claimed to have worked at McDonald's before that. After attending the Culinary Institute of America, Burrell made her way to the Italian Culinary Institute for Foreigners, ultimately returning to the States in 1998. Along with her many appearances and hosting gigs on Food Network, Burrell also penned numerous cookbooks, including Cook Like a Rock Star and Own Your Kitchen. Burrell and husband Stuart Claxton met through a dating app. They got engaged during the COVID-19 pandemic and eventually tied the knot in 2021. While Burrell was head over heels in love with Claxton, referring to him as Prince Charming in an Instagram post, marriage was not always something she saw in her future. She told the Today Show, "I mean, I am 50. It didn't seem it would be in the cards for me." Claxton sweetly described his wife of 4 years by saying, "When they made Anne, they broke the mold." While it's bittersweet that Burrell and Claxton didn't get to spend more time together, it's clear she had a powerful impact on Claxton and virtually everyone else she encountered in her life. Chef Aaron Sanchez summarized the loss on Instagram, where he stated, "I'm heartbroken by the loss of my dear friend Chef Anne Burrell. Her spirit, her fire, her talent, her leadership, her laugh, unforgettable. I'll carry her memory with me always. Rest easy, amiga." Burrell's fire and spirit for cooking led her to also sit down with numerous publications, including Mashed sister site Tasting Table. Burrell told us her secrets for winning a cooking competition. To honor her commitment to culinary education and love of cooking, we assembled a few of the best cooking tips we picked up from her over the years. Burrell's advice for cooking often boiled down to not overlooking the basics, especially for home cooks and chefs just starting out. Burrell told Mashed that one of her biggest tips was simply to follow the recipe closely and prep your kitchen so that you don't get flustered or confused in the heat of the moment. As she explained, get all your cutting done, get all your measuring done, and then cooking becomes much easier and much less frantic.
Life is so easy when I do all my prep work ahead, and it's just so much fun. You just whip through things then.
With the understandable desire to cook on the fly, use your instincts and be creative. The power of organization is something that is often very overlooked for beginner chefs. Effectively planning your food prep may not be the most exciting part of cooking, but it is essential, especially when dealing with more complicated recipes. Burrell understood that for people who aren't pros, the biggest mistakes can often come from panic or time constraints that grow out of sloppy or overly speedy prep work. something that was no doubt hammered home over her years participating in cooking challenges and hosting them.
The onions are like charcoal.
Another simple piece of advice that Burrell would always drive home in interviews was the importance of tasting your cooking as you go. Like her advice about food prep, this was born from years of experience in high-pressure environments.
A little quality control check. It tastes delicious.
Burrell knew that whether you were cooking for your family or for an audience of professional chefs, the chaos of the kitchen often means that steps get skipped and ingredients left out. At some point, all of us have probably sat down after a lot of hard work in the kitchen, ready to enjoy the spoils, only to take the first bite and realize we forgot a key ingredient. Even when you haven't forgotten a step, this is still important advice. A meal may not be complete until the very end, but you can often catch mistakes early before they ruin the dish. And you can also make adjustments on the fly. When you're cooking with a lot of spices, adding strong ingredients like vinegar or even just salting food, it's important to add a little at a time, taste, and then adjust. One of the biggest things you'll learn as a professional like Burrell is that you can always add more of something you need, but you can rarely take it away if you add too much. One of our favorite tips from Burrell was the secret ingredient she added to her mashed potatoes, celery root. While not actually tasting much like celery, the root of the plant is also edible as a root vegetable with a distinctly herby flavor.
It is kind of very starchy like a potato. It's very craggy, but it smells like celery.
And like the potato, it can be boiled and mashed. Burrell would mix about equal parts potato and celery root together when making mashed potatoes, infusing a basic dish with unexpectedly bright flavor that adds more complexity without changing what people love about it too much. And Burrell's lesson in easy, subtle adjustments to classic recipes carries over beyond celery root. There are plenty of delicious root vegetables like turnips and rutabaga that mash well and can add a fun twist to your mashed potatoes. Burrell always liked cooking to be fun, and getting creative in accessible ways is a big part of that. In an interview with Tasting Table, Burrell talked about her tolerance for spicy food and how important it is that your hot ingredients actually make your dish taste better. She differentiated between additions that just pack a punch and ingredients that actually add flavor as well as heat.
Then I have sweet and spicy sausage. So
making everyone happy.
Right?
Her example of a good use was Asian chili pastes like gochujang, which, while plenty spicy, also add a wonderful chili and fermented flavor to dishes. Lots of people treat adding heat like a challenge to get people sweating. But for a real chef, the end goal is to simply make what tastes best. Another example from Anne was how a pinch of red pepper can boost the flavor of a dish without overpowering it. Similar to how a few dashes of great hot sauce can brighten up your dinner, but cover the whole dish in it and it will only taste like hot sauce. Throughout Burrell's conversation with Tasting Table and other interviews she did during her career, one consistent theme always shone through. Burrell knew that cooking was supposed to be fun. This is why so much of her advice had to do with prepping well and taking the pressure off of yourself. As she put it, take the fear factor out of it and put the fun factor in.
Cooking can be fun, too.
At the end of the day, Burrell understood that food is just food. You want it to taste good, you want the people around you to enjoy it, and you want to love making it. Beyond that, you shouldn't be trying to impress anybody. In a world where the media still loves to lionize obsessive chefs who spend their whole lives in pursuit of perfect dishes and critical acclaim, this refreshing attitude was one of the best things about her, and a reason Burrell connected with so many fans. Rising to the heights of the culinary world with her joyful attitude, instead of being a humorless perfectionist, was one of Burrell's greatest legacies, and a big reason why she will be missed so much. The good thing about Chef Burrell's vast body of work is that we'll always be able to check out the shows she starred in for great advice or just nostalgic entertainment. In our opinion, you really can't go wrong with old episodes of Worst Cooks in America.
What is that?
Joelle, what is that?
Orange chicken.
Orange chicken. You don't say.
While other chefs might have made a non-stop mockery of the gross incompetence of the novice cooks featured on the show, Burrell's wry humor and teacherly approach never strayed far from caring and instilling wisdom. We still think about her red Sharpie every time we see someone hold a knife incorrectly. Don't extend your index finger along the blade for cheese's sake. Speaking of her marker, raise your hand if you learned something new about proper knife cutting technique after watching her laboriously coach kitchen noobs out of their bad chopping habits. We always look askance at a plate of diced veg if those cuts are uneven. What would Chef Anne have said? Likewise, we also saw the devastating and often hilarious consequences of not tidying up your cooking station as you work. Mushroom stems and onion roots flying everywhere, and the stovetop flaming out of control as a sweating, praying worst cook tries desperately to remember the fundamentals of kitchen safety and not destroy their dinner. We don't have Anne watching over our shoulders to extinguish our stir-fried disasters, so we preach the gospel of mise en place and clean as you go. While many TV chefs before her, like Ina Garten, have imparted sage cooking tips that home chefs should know, Burrell's brand of instruction was candid, funny, and ultimately supportive. She led us to believe that if the poor souls on Worst Cooks could do it, so could we. But her work as a TV personality went far beyond Worst Cooks. If you just want solid, consistent advice in the kitchen, it's hard to do better than her work on Secrets of a Restaurant Chef. It's a show you've probably watched without even realizing it on YouTube if you've ever looked up a recipe from Anne Burrell. The show has a wealth of knowledge you and your family can make use of forever, from weeknight quick dinner staples to a tropical angel food cake. Finally, if you want to see Anne on the other side of the judges' table, it's worth checking out her episodes of The Next Iron Chef. The 4th season of this show in 2011 pitted a number of super chefs, in other words, actual pros, against each other in competition.